Laughing at Noelle. She's just the funniest, I tell you. But anyhow, this video is not really about Noelle. Someone sent me, be sure to join the Discord down in the description box below. I'm doing this because on the phone, because of the simple fact that you guys know the story. The camera I have hooked up to the computer and all this stuff, sometimes it wants to give me issues. And so instead of me taking that risk, I'm just going to go on ahead and do it on the phone and upload it and do it that way. Not that you guys really, well, some guys do care. Some of you care. This is a video. This is an Ask HershNoeie. And I got someone else who sent me this Ask HershNoeie. And actually he's on our Discord. And I will address his questions that he had. He's a young black man. He's got some questions. And I'm going to tell him right now in terms of this, he's thinking about moving overseas. And I'm going to answer part of that question and say, if you're going to move someplace, this is where you want to move to. And it's Tacoma. But in that video, I will explain to him why, as a young black man, he should move to Tacoma. But anyhow, that's not what this particular video is about. This is something that is a little different. Someone had said, hey, Hersh, I am coming out of business school and I wanted to know, how do you typically dress on a day-to-day? I've noticed that a lot of people suggest a lot of different things, and I even saw a receipt order. I don't know. I got to check that out. I noticed that, when it comes to some, they dress a certain particular type of way. I like Kevin Samuel's style. What do you think in terms of me? I just now finished graduating. Excuse me. And while it took me a while, I am now at the age of 24, and I can't wait to get out there. But I just want to know how to dress first. It's a great question. Now, let me first talk about me, because I consider Kevin Samuels as a coy. Okay? And, you know, different places, people have different definitions or what they call someone, the way they dress a certain type of way in different areas. You know, in some places they call them GQ or, you know, whatever, right? Stylish. But Kevin Samuels is a coy. And so that is not going to be how a lot of people are going to be able to really dress, right? I mean, you will get there possibly at some point in time, especially given your age, but that's not how a lot of people dress. For me, I dress typically very casual if I'm at home, because most 90% of my work is here. So if I'm back here and I'm doing a lot of different things, I may be doing 5 different jobs all within the span of time. So I may go back here and pour some molds. I may go up here and work on a contract or two. I may go and do something else real quick and come back. You know, I may be uploading videos on YouTube. So a lot of times I'm doing so many different things at once that this is kind of what you will see. However, if I have a meeting where I have to go out and about, it's a completely different thing. And so typically I try to just dress for comfort, but it depends on the meeting, right? If I am doing something that involves clients, for example, then it's going to be business professional, typically. If it's something that involves the city, it's always going to be professionally dressed. Suit and tie, stuff like that. If it is people that I know and we're trying to put things together, you'll probably get business casual. So for me, it depends on the circumstance, right? You know, each style of dress, what I wear, what I smell like, what I do is all going to depend. It's situational for me. Now, there are going to be some people that they're business casual no matter what, right? So business casual still means you may have a jacket on and everything else, but you're not like, you know, a full-on 3-piece, right? So it just depends. And if you really want to be very rudimentary in terms of business casual, khakis and a shirt is technically business casual. But really, in my opinion, depending upon the circumstance, you should step it up quite a bit. Not everyone can afford to have a $4,000 suit, which is still cheap for some. Not everybody can afford to have that, right? And so you got to go with what you have. Some people spend upwards to $25,000 for a three-piece. It's not uncommon. So somebody's car alarm. Is that mine? Hold on. Okay, not mine. It's somebody else. They are inside their truck and it's going off and they don't know how to stop it, apparently. But at any rate, yeah, you can spend a lot of money depending upon the suit, depending upon how you want to smell and all of that. Now, not everybody can be a Kevin Samuels. Unless you're doing it like that, unless you're making that type of money, it's very hard to keep that image up. And that's why I call him a koi, right? So he's the king of image. And so every aspect of his life is about proper image. You see what I'm saying? So it's a little bit different. He's swimming in a completely different water. Now, sometimes I may go into that pond or that lake or that ocean every now and again, and I quickly swim back out. But can I be in that forum? Yes, I can. Do I feel awkward as hell? Yeah, I do, right? There's a huge difference when we're talking about, and you're not even there yet, right? In the world of business, let's look at the top 10% of people, right? The top 10%. And this is not a braggadocious thing, but I'm in the top 10%. I'm about the top 8%, I believe. I think Kevin Samuels is probably in the top 3 at least. There's a big difference between those. From top 1% to the top 10%. There's a massive difference between those. Okay? Massive difference. And so even in the top 8%, you can't roll on a consistent basis like people who are in the top 3% or 4%. It's not like that. If you're living here in this part of the country, 3 kids, it gives you an idea of pretty much how much you have to do in order to make it, right? And for me, I try to live as cheap as I can and enjoy the benefits of other stuff. That's why, when it was Noelle's birthday, I gave her a shopping spree and said, you don't have a limit, because I live so darn cheap every other day of the week, where it's like, whatever. And she works very, very hard, right? But when it comes to, and she completely changed out her whole wardrobe and everything. So everything else she's getting rid of, and she has a whole new makeup regimen thing, and she went and did that. Actually, the makeup costs more than the clothes. And she didn't even get any sort of perfume or nothing. But all of the makeup and the stuff that you use and the skin treatment stuff and all that other stuff, that was by far more than the clothes. But anyway, when it comes to you as a business professional, yeah, you can still go and get you some very decent suits. I would say probably starting out in business, you want to make sure you dress to impress. And since you're kind of new on the block, you got to understand in business, especially, it depends upon your community. I can speak for certain communities, certain cities. You got to get in where you fit in. People know you, people recognize you. And it depends. I don't know what your particular race is. You didn't mention it, but the previous person that I was referring to as a young black man, I don't know what your race is, but I know here, and in certain cities, the black professionals are a very small group, and a lot of people know one another, right? And so here it's kind of fragmented more so than in other places where it's a little bit more solidified and everybody knows everybody. Here it's a little bit more kind of not as organized as it could be, but that's important, right? That's very important whenever you first meeting and introducing yourself and making waves. you got to make sure that you come correct, right? You got to make sure you definitely look the part. Otherwise, people are not going to really take you that seriously. So when I do meetings, when I go to meetings or whatever, I went to a thing the other day. You want to make sure that you look very, very well, obviously. You want to command the attention of the crowd. Now, I try to make sure I match it. See, here it's not like New York City or Atlanta or those places. It's not like that here in Tacoma or even in Seattle. Here, a lot of people dress very business casual and even less than that. It's not uncommon to see people walk around in blue jeans and they're holding a professional meeting. You see what I'm saying? You won't see that in New York City and Chicago and Atlanta. You got to make sure in LA, you got to look good. I'm not saying that's always the case, but you often see people dressed down a lot. And some say, well, it's just due to, it depends on where you are, right? I think in Tacoma, people want to feel comfortable, you know? And so it shows in their dress patterns, right? Whenever they go out. But you do see a lot of that, men and women. You know, you see a lot of leggings, but you don't see a whole lot of, you know, professional suits and stuff like that with women. You don't really see that as much. You see a lot of jeans and jean passing, but you don't see a lot of that. You know what I mean? So it depends. It depends on where you are. That's the first thing. And secondly, given the fact that you're very young, I would definitely focus on, and you don't have a lot of money, I would focus on just looking very good. Go to and if you can't afford a stylist or something like that, which probably not, but you can easily go to a lot of department stores and you have people there that can help you, that can kind of give you an idea. Say, you know, look, I'm getting into the business world. I just graduated. I want to make sure that I have different suits for different needs, or I have different dress styles for different occasions. Some people do that. Some people, again, and I don't know Kevin Samuels at all, but just looking at every other video here and there, he's always in some sort of suit at least, or bare minimum, it's still business professional. You see what I'm saying? Some people won't go to the store. I know some women who won't go to the grocery store unless they look like a 10. You see what I'm saying? And there are some dudes like that, where the only time you see them dressing down is when they go to the gym. You see what I'm saying? So it depends. There are a lot of people who are coys. But that doesn't mean that you have to be that king of image. You don't have to be that person where people are like, yep, you know, go to that person if you're wanting to figure out this or figure out that, or, you know, what's the best smell whenever you're going to. Sometimes, especially here, people take advantage of good weather. If there's an outdoor meeting, what's going to be a good scent for outdoors? But that's different than if you're indoors in a quiet, intimate setting, or you have a huge setting. Your style of clothes, the smell, all of that has to be different. Okay, I gotta head out. So all of those things are going to be depending on that particular type of circumstance. And so I would say starting out, don't way overdo it. Don't, you know, focus on what's important, but don't do over what you can actually afford. You know, it took a while for certain people to get to where they are. You know what I mean? Don't have that pressure of thinking, dang, man, I just now graduated, so I need to, you know, look like a guy that's making $1 million a year. No. Right? No. Because if you try to get in where you fit in, and let's say you saved up all your coin and you got that $25,000 suit, people are going to expect that you can continue that on. So if we go to a business meeting and we go to lunch, and some dudes are like, yeah, we got it this last 2 or 3 times. Hey, you know, such and such, you get it this time. We'll get it next time when we meet up. You look at that bill, and the bill is $500, $600, $700. I mean, so that's why for me, I rush out quick. I'm cheap like that. Now, what I did, I took a meeting and I left out so quick that I had people sending me emails asking questions about different things that I presented and whatnot, because we already had our lunch and it was just a basic thing. But for me, I'm just so darn busy. I don't have time. Like I literally kept looking at my watch and at the phone, like, I gotta go. But yeah, I mean it does matter. So you want to be very careful when you're trying to floss. Don't floss too hard. Floss within your means. Make sure you dress to impress. Best thing is to you could even go to Nordstrom Rack and do very, very well for yourself. Bring with you $1,000 and, you can find some things that make you look very, very well. It's not going to complete everything, but it definitely gets you a good start, and you can do completely fine starting off with that. Annie, I hope I answered your questions. Be sure to join the Discord down in the description box below. Make sure that you like, share, subscribe, and comment. And I got to go now. I got to go to the studio to help Noelle. And until next time, I will see you. Take care.